Hello everyone and welcome to Rob's Rogues, to this very large, big, massive figure of Darkseid from the Justice League DC Comics New 52 Darkseid. Oh my gosh, this guy is huge. I've got the box off to the side and I really should have checked to see what his weight is, and I didn't even look on the box to see how heavy he is. I should have put him on the bathroom scale, but he's not only a huge figure, he's a heavy figure. My wife's like, oh my gosh, you could use this guy as a weapon. Massive is the only word I can use to describe this figure. I want to slide him out of the way just a little bit, hope I don't break a leg here or an arm lifting him, but I can't even get the whole box in the screen here, so I may have to do some of this handheld. I knew Stu Murray 47, he said he had to do the same thing, and he's like, you know, you won't be ready for the sheer size of just the box. There's the silhouette, very, very cool silhouette of Darkseid, and I can see my fingerprints and everything on the side of the box. Just to give you a size of this, here's the Green Arrow's box that we just recently looked at and reviewed. This is just amazing to me how big this action figure is. He's 13 inches tall. Jeff Johns from DC Comics, when they were putting these together, had said that the commission for Darkseid was to be 2 Aquamans high, or basically 2 action figures. Here's the back of the package. Darkseid came out just before Christmas last year, if I am saying that correctly. So here's the little write-up. It says, comic superstars Jeff Johns and Jim Lee make history. Boom, straight from the pages of DC Comics, the New 52, comes a brand new take on one of the Justice League's most powerful villains, Darkseid. This apocalyptic conqueror will crush all who oppose him. And the other figures that were coming soon that were already out, obviously, are Wonder Woman and Cyborg, and you could see Darkseid down there with all of his parademons. I don't have any parademons yet. I would like to get maybe one or two, at least 2 maybe, for either side of Darkseid. But just a huge box. I don't know if you could see it or not, but the silhouette of all the figures of Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, etc. are all in here. No Green Lantern in there, or Green Arrow, but I do want to say that this particular figure is sculpted by Phil Ramirez, or Ramirez, I believe is how you say his name. Jack Matthews sculpted the Green Arrow figure, and I believe he sculpted all other figures as we're looking at blank screen here. But just a huge figure. I don't even know if the camera here is going to be able to give him, you know, justice. Let's move him in really close here, and we'll raise the camera up a little bit so you can get a look at this face. Just the detailing work that is done in Darkseid's face is unbelievable. All the cracks in the rock granite looking face that he has. You can see his teeth and his eyes. This is the most expensive figure that I have ever bought. This is almost like buying a Hot Toys, you know, for me, buying something in this size and this detail. It's just a beautiful figure. These pieces come off. I took one off a while back, and I'm not going to go through doing that again, but there is this paper that you get with Darkseid. It says the shoulder pads on DC, blah, blah, blah. Darkseid Deluxe action figure may disconnect during use. To reattach the shoulder pads, please follow the steps below, and it shows you how to put them back on. Little piece of paper, nothing too special. Once you get his arms up so high, can't even see that. Once you get his arms up so high, the pads will come off, or if you want to make his arm go up higher, you could take these shoulder pad pieces off. I'm not going to bother doing it. It was kind of a pain to put one of these back on when I popped it off the other day just to see what would happen. And it's a little clear ball up here, and I'm afraid that it would break, so I'm not going to be twisting the figure all around and everything like that. Trust me, it does come off, but it looks kind of silly without it on, and this is the way he's meant to look anyway. But he's got a good range of articulation. And there's his arm almost completely out. Now, my Darkseid on the would be, let's see, left hand side. There's the right, left hand side of Darkseid. My right, his left, was really stiff. This arm, so I'm trying to turn it here on film, so hard to shoot this guy, was really stiff. I really had to kind of work and get this arm to move and get it to go back and forth. Yes, it does move up here at the bicep, the elbow moves, and he does turn below the glove here to get some rotation, and there is a little bit of rotation, a little movement in the hand, a little back and forth, not a whole lot there. Just turn it the wrist a little bit too, not so well on the left hand side, but the right hand side can turn a little bit. The legs are another story on my Darkseid. The legs can move forwards and back, but I have yet to get his knees to move at all. He has a swivel down here in the boot, but since I've had this figure probably 4 days, and I was sick the day that it came, my wife ran up to the post office and picked him up for me, and you know, had him in the box, and I was like, oh, maybe I'm just too weak and I can't get his knees to move, but I cannot get his knees to bend whatsoever. I've seen other people get him to bend, but as I say butt, we're looking at his butt here, but I cannot get his knees to move at all, and every time that I try, I start moving his boot here a little bit. I'm just scared that I'm going to break this figure, so he's going to stand on my shelf anyway, but let me do a little bit of handheld here, so bear with me just a little bit. Hopefully this shaking is not too much. But I just want you to be able to get in close and take a look at just the size of this figure. And I'll bring up some of the Justice League members here so you can get a really good scale on how big he really is. But if it wasn't for having some lovely in-laws that like to give us some birthday money, my wife and I every year, I probably would not have been able to pick up this Darkseid. So thank you to my wife's parents. I'm going to try to put this back in the tripod here. That they're really generous and want us to be able to pick up something nice. And my father-in-law was actually like, oh, maybe there's some action figure that you know, you've been dying to get since you collect these type of things, and Darkseid was on that list, so their kind of birthday money was hopefully put to good use here for this very large Darkseid. I'm going to bring down Robin here, as he's not, I know, part of the Justice League yet, but he is in size and scale with the Justice League, but you'll be able to see how big Darkseid is just compared to Damian. That is a huge, huge difference. Now let me drop the camera all the way down and we'll go down by the boots here. See how low I can get the camera down. It's good being a drummer because I have all these wonderful cool stands that I can attach my camera to so I can get my camera in all these really cool poses. We'll bring Batman down here as well, as I have them on a little shelf beside me so you can kind of see the size that we're dealing with here. So most of the Justice League are all going to be right around the same size with Darkseid. Let's kind of push Darkseid towards the back a little bit, and we'll put in some of the Justice League figures. We just recently looked at Green Arrow, and I've got him still on this base. He kind of wants to tip back a little bit, and we'll bring in, see how many of these I can get to stand on this table, since there's not really a flat base here. It's more of a card table, and I'm using a white sheet to kind of cover up the card table. See if I can get the whole Justice League standing up here. They'll probably have to rest on themselves. I've got Cyborg real high up on this shelf that I have up here. And last but not least, we'll bring up Aquaman, as we're kind of having people fall all over the place here. So I know people are going to be kind of blocking one another, but at least you can kind of see everybody. And I've got Green Arrow hidden in the back. But you could just see how big and how massive Darkseid is, and just compared to everybody else here. I think it's a very cool figure. Some people are like, geez, Darkseid probably shouldn't be this big. Well, according to the New 52 in the comics, Darkseid is a very, very tall figure, and he's in proportion in the comics to the rest of the heroes like this. So I think this is a really, really cool figure to have. Yes, he is very expensive. I believe with what I paid everything for, he was like $88.95. I did pick him up through Amazon, so out of pocket from our end, I think we paid $30. My wife's like, oh, I'm fine with you spending $30 on an action figure. She's like, granted, that's still expensive for an action figure, but with having a nice help, the extra bit of money from my in-laws, that was able to allow me to pick up Darkseid. But just a very, I just can't say enough cool things about Darkseid. He is just enormous, and he looks very cool on my shelf, and he has always been one of my favorite villains, especially for Superman and the rest of the Justice League. But he's going to look really cool as I continue to build this DC Collectibles Justice League and other villains and things of this nature that they're going to be coming out with. So this is the last bit of my birthday action figures and things that I've got from my wife and wife's family and things of that nature. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this review. I know quite a few of you out there. Stu Murray 47 has this Darkseid as well, and he just kept telling me, he's like, when this thing comes in, he's like, just the sheer size of the box alone that he's coming, he's like, there's no way to prepare yourself for how big Darkseid is actually going to be, and he was definitely right. So I definitely think this is something that is really cool to have, but you have to kind of be able to justify spending this much money. But if you kind of look at it through, all these figures, if each one of these are $20 figures, how much that I've already kind of spent, but I've spent that much just in one figure alone. So about $100 for the Justice League as a 7-pack, throw in another $20 for Green Arrow, and then another $100 basically for Darkseid. It is a pretty steep price to pay for an action figure, but I think you're getting so much, and it just looks so cool, and it's definitely a very cool conversation piece to have, especially if you have other comic book friends out there. So I want to say this is a definite must-have to get, but you really have to be able to justify your pocketbooks and billfolds and wallets to be able to buy such a expensive figure. But I definitely think it's worth it for those people that are buying some of these hot toys. This will probably be pretty easy for somebody like them to pick up. So today we've been taking a look at the very huge, large, and massive Darkseid from DC Collectibles Justice League line. And as always, this is Rob for Rob's Rogue signing off, saying we will see you guys next time.